a 15-year deal to buy 2 million tonnes of liquid gas from Qatar, sending out mixed signals over the priority the nation places on human rights in the Gulf and its commitment to a carbon-neutral energy supply. Deutsche Welle correspondent Thoma Sparrow joins me now from Berlin. Thomas, what does this long-term gas deal with Qatar entail?
It entails that Qatar will send LNG, so liquefied natural gas, to Germany over a period of 15 years, something that, by the way, German politicians had been skeptical about during negotiations. It also means that the deal will not start immediately. It will only start in a few years' time. And it also means that it will only represent a small portion of the amount of gas that Germany needs on a yearly basis. However, from a political perspective, it is an important deal because Germany has been trying to diversify its energy sources since the war in Ukraine began, a war that, by the way, revealed Germany's dependence on Russian energy, in particular on Russian gas. So since the war in Ukraine started, Germany has tried to look for different energy suppliers around the world, and one of those energy suppliers is indeed Qatar. Now, there has been criticism here in Germany about possible double standards, if you will, from Germany. On the one hand, Germany has been criticizing Qatar for its human rights record. On the other hand, German leaders are now making very important business deals with those same Qatari authorities. So all in all, it's a deal that entails obviously an important an important element of gas that comes to Germany, but it's also politically very controversial.
Germany's football team covered their mouths ahead of their opening match at the World Cup in protest against the host nation, Qatar. Did that affect diplomatic relations between the two countries?
Well, it has meant that from both sides there has been criticism. We've seen German leaders criticize Qatar. We've seen Qatari leaders criticize Germany from an economic perspective. However, it is a deal that both nations actually want, or at least both governments actually want. Germany is in need for international suppliers, and Qatar can be one of those suppliers. In fact, Qatari leaders stress that they were contributing to energy security in Europe by signing these kinds of deals with Germany. But there is a concern here in Germany and more broadly in Europe about signing those deals with countries that do not necessarily see eye to eye with Germany or with other European countries when it comes to human rights or when it comes to other values. So there is a concern that there could be problems along the road, maybe not problems immediately now that the deal has signed, but indeed problems as events progress, as that deal develops. And that is something that Germany already saw, for example, with Russia and with that energy dependence that I already mentioned.
What kind of impact will the gas agreement have in helping Germany diversify its energy sources, Thomas?
So very little when it comes to the actual amount of gas that comes from Qatar compared to the amount of gas that Germany needs every year. But that was also part of the deal. That was the interest that Germany had, to diversify, to have as many suppliers as possible so as to reduce any possible dependence from one supplier in particular. So those who see this deal from a positive light, if you will, say that this is an important step towards that diversification. Those who view it critically say that Germany should not be making these kinds of deals with countries like Qatar, which along the way could pose political or even economic problems. So it is a very controversial deal, mostly from a political standpoint, and it comes, by the way, at a time when Germany has been really critical about Qatar. Qatar obviously in the news because of the World Cup. So all in all, a deal that is being followed very, very closely by political authorities and experts here in Germany to see what political implications it will have, what economic implications it will have as well.
Yeah, and sorry, Germany's been knocked out of the World Cup. Thoma Sparrow reporting there from Berlin. Here are the top stories on